All right, everybody, welcome back, Basscast Radio.
What's it called?
Basscast Radio.
Basscast.
Yes, Basscast
Not Cast
Radio.
Bass Radio.
No.
Basscast
and we're
Radio.
actually live, and it actually went live on me, and I wasn't hoping to go live, but it did.
Oh, my gosh.
I don't know if we should end this or not.
Why? Go live.
All right, let's go live here.
Yeah, you know.
What's up? We're Red Crest 2025. Chauncey's Great Outdoors is with me today.
Mm-hmm.
I've been knowing Chauncey for a very, very, very long time. Chauncey's helped me so many times. It's crazy with the stint with Bassmaster and got us all straight, got us all organized at some of these Bassmaster events. And now you're doing your own gig.
Yeah.
And let's talk about your own gig.
Well, it's, I've been doing my own gig for 30 years, actually.
Yes.
And but in my own gig here, I've been doing a radio show on ESPN out of Chicago for the last 26 years. And that's every week, 52 weeks a year, 26 years. And I've only missed one show.
That is awesome.
And that's because I was in intensive care, but that's another whole story.
That's pretty good, because I'll tell you this, we miss more than that just because we're traveling, but to only miss one show is pretty daggone good.
And then I do I've done videos and stuff. I also do some work for ABC and CBS out of Chicago.
Okay.
I prior to that wrote for the Chicago Tribune and a few other newspapers and outdoor magazines, and do some other things on the the internet and stuff like that, just to get people out fishing and out camping and out. My mantra is fishing, hunting, camping, napping in a hammock, all the important things in life.
Yeah. So I mean, like Chauncey said, he's been in this for a very, very long time. I have listened to the show. You guys need to check it out. But what made you decide to do Chauncey's Outdoors and to become a podcast or a radio show?
Outdoor media.
An outdoor media show. I mean.
Really, I think you may be the second person that has ever asked me that. When I was a little kid, yes, I was a child at some time, but when I was a little kid, I had loved the local newspapers. That's the thing that you used to buy in the store.
Yes,
and used to
paper,
read like
everybody.
this. Yeah, those are always a good thing to see. But in Chicago, we had 2 morning papers, we had 2 afternoon papers, and in the afternoon paper, there was a little 1-paragraph column called Mr. Perch in the summer and Mr. Schmelt in the spring, and it was just a fishing report, a 1-paragraph fishing report. And I go, boy, I wanted to be Mr. Perch and Schmelt.
That's awesome.
That's what I said when I was like 6 and 7 years old, and it just took a long time to get back to that point. And I did a stint in banking and stuff, but even when I was doing banking, I was still helping people in the outdoors. And finally, push came to shove, and I just said, this is what I'm going to do, and I'm going to try it, and we'll go from there, and let's have some fun. And that's exactly how I got into. I started writing a newspaper, and that went into a fishing information line called 976 Hook.
Okay.
So
you just said push come to shove, and sometimes that's how a lot of great things happen is the shove, and sometimes we all need that, to be honest, and to get us to that next level. Even with me, running the basscast.com, going to that next level is going to be cutting the net, to be honest, and cutting that cord and making it to the next level. But if they go listen to your show, what do listeners need to expect? What they're going to hear? And what they're going to learn when they go to Chauncey's Great Outdoors.
Well, the first thing is, I am not an expert at anything. Well, maybe the bakery I am, okay? But the thing is, on my show, my mantra is fishing, hunting, camping, napping in a hammock, all the important things in life.
Yes.
And I believe that all the outdoor things are connected. If you're a fisherman, you're listening to this, you must be a fisherman, right? You know what? You're a bird watcher. Don't tell me you're not. You are a bird watcher.
All right.
And I'm showing people how, they have an app, because there's an app for everything now.
There is, yes.
And, but you're a bird watcher. You're noticing, what kind of bird that is. So you're learning about that. I have biologists on, not to just talk about, the fish do this and the fish do that, but, why are the fish doing this? Because if you learn the science of your fish, your deer, your duck, whatever, you're going to wind up being a better sportsman. And so that's why, I've had everybody on from a very young kid, and 7, 8 years old, that caught a really cool fish or, shot his first buck.
Right.
And I love to tell them, little 10-year-old Billy, shot a 15-point buck, and I go, it ain't ever going to happen again, kid.
Yeah, that's a chance of a lifetime right there. The shot of a lifetime.
The shot of a lifetime. But then, I like to talk to the anglers. Yes, I want to hear about how they caught the fish, but I want to hear about what they like to do. What do you do when you're not fishing?
The story
behind them. And that's the important thing. And that's where this is all snowballed down to where I'm doing now. 26 years with a radio show, people tell me that's unheard of.
It is, especially in the outdoor industry, besides Bryan, which we're going to bring on here in a moment. But, besides being a part of that, we tend to get burnt out in this industry because it is so daggone big. But you've been doing it an extremely long time. And, you've got like people do fishing reports on your show. I think I've heard some of that.
Oh, yeah.
And like I said, you cover more than just bass fishing.
Yeah. A little bit of everything. There's bass fishing, bluegill fishing. There's perch fishing. If somebody says to me, you want to go bass fishing or yellow perch fishing? Bye, Mr. Bass. I'm going perch fishing because they taste so good. And, it's just everything outdoors. I just enjoy the outdoors. I could lay in a field and look at the stars, and I could do a show on that because I'm just getting that much information out there for people. There's just so, there's a line that goes, at the end of my show, I always say, we don't own the woods, the rain, the storm, the fish we catch, the birds we shoot, the deer we're chasing. We're borrowing it all from our children's children. And that's exactly what the outdoors is. And we've got to make sure that we're leaving it for them to enjoy.
You MC a couple events as well. You do more than like the show. You're out there in the public, in the eye. And like I said, I listened to the show and I've, heard you doing some MCing as well. What's some of, places that they're going to see you? Is there anything coming up for you that you're going to be a part of?
Actually, either he's feeding a good line here or something.
I have heard you, yes.
Next week, and I'm doing another live remote for my show, which is out in the middle of a parking lot in a state of Illinois cooling lake. That's a lake that is connected to a nuclear power plant. Kind of glows in the dark. But no, it doesn't. But this 24 years ago, these people came up to me from the plant and said, we want to get into a fishing tournament for charity.
It's awesome.
And they said, would you help us? And I go, are you nuts? I'm being honest. I said, are you guys nuts? Do you know how work it is to do a tournament? And then you want to do, the company is going to pay all of our expenses, give us $10,000 for the top 10 people to win, which is like $4,250 and down the road.
Right.
And the first year we did that 25 years ago, we were 23 years ago, we made $3,400. And let me tell you, we thought we were the biggest guys on the face of the earth. This year, we're over $110,000. And in 24 years, we've raised over $1 million.
That is awesome.
I can't find $1 million. I can't find 20 bucks in my pocket, And here we raised $1 million for charity. And all of these charities are small, not the big name charities. These are local charities that really can use it in a community. And this year, this charity that creates service dogs for veterans. He's going to get a check for $110,000. He's going to have
so cool.
He's going to have a gripper on stage, which is cool. There's
awesome.
There's medical staff. Don't worry. But there's all kinds of things that we try to do, and it's high school tournaments we MC. We do muskie tournaments up north.
That's what I heard was the muskie tournament.
Yeah, muskie. Those are big fish with big teeth. Okay,
that was what I heard was the muskie tournament. So yes. So guys, Chauncey, where can they find you? Where can they listen? Where can they listen to old episodes if they can't catch it?
Well, one of two ways. You could either download the ESPN Chicago app, for free. And first thing, you just scroll down and look for a younger looking me holding a fish like this, okay? That's first thing to look for. If not, you could just go to Chauncey'sGreatOutdoors.com. and click on the word podcast, and it sends you over to the ESPN one.
There you guys go. So head on over now.
Okay.
Check it out. Please subscribe. We got Mr. Bryan coming up.
I was going to say, Mr. Bryan's coming up here, and he'll lay another truckload of stuff on you, too.
Yes, because We're going to talk about the writing side of this whole entire thing. So
Get over here. Get over here.
Get over here.
Now I am going to turn it over. Oh, we got a photo op. Everybody, hold on. Keep watching.
Okay, yeah, we got a photo.
We got a little
op.
bit of a photo op here.
All
you know, phones on the hip or flowers. Okay. See, like
all right,
that.
There we go.
Now you got Bryan.
Hi, Bryan. You can slide on over. Here we go, guys. Bryan, what is up, my brother? Welcome to Basscast Radio.
It's always good to be on Basscast Radio.
Yes, you guys know he's been on before, so it's not like this is a strange thing for him. But guys, talk about Bryan is an outdoor writer. For you guys who still read print, like we were talking about, and a lot of people have started going back to print. Let's talk about what you've done, how you got involved in the print industry. He told me, Danielle, earlier that he hiked across the world and then wrote a book, and now he's famous. So, I mean, it just takes that one thing, and here you are today, and we've been hanging out for years. So it's more about for us, it's the relationships, and you and Chauncey have one that we built for a long time. So
long time. I met Chauncey 20 years ago. I've been involved with Major League Fishing and then FLW and then Redman, Operation Bass, Kathy Fennell and all of them going back to the early 90s. So it's all built on relationships. I covered Redman All-Americans way back in the early 90s, and that turned into Fishing League Worldwide. And the thing was, I got out of the business for about 9 years. In 1996, I went into the government side of things, worked for the Oklahoma Department of Wildlife Conservation for about 3 years, and Missouri Department of Conservation for 5 years. Well, while I was gone, Bryan, the business, the media business, the tournament business changed so much. And when I left in 95, 96, newspapers was still the dominant. Magazines too. Print was dominant, and internet was coming on. People were just starting to learn how to use email, and I can tell you a story about that too. I'm the guy who invented the mass email.
Wow!
I did that for the Oklahoma Wildlife Department with their news release, and back then it was just something we worked on. It took about
that is so cool
9 months for our team to make the code, work it through the Secretary of State's office, and we were the first to do it. Consulted with other states on how to do it.
Yeah.
That's old technology.
Oh yeah, that's old technology. No,
but anyway, I got lost there somewhere.
No, you're good. So you write for a paper as well,
right? And I have written for the Arkansas Democrat-Gazette in Little Rock for 20 years. And we are one of the newspapers, one of the few of that size that's still healthy and doing well. And we've done that a number of different ways. We still maintain a print product, but we also give our subscribers, our online subscribers, we give them an iPad.
Yeah, I was going to tell you that because, we discussed that, I think, last year.
Right.
And that's how they kept a lot of their readers. And that is freaking cool that, if you sign up, I think you had to sign up for a year, I guess, or a certain amount of time.
Right.
I don't know, but a certain amount of time. And they sent you an iPad, and that way you can read the paper. And that is so freaking cool.
It's even better than the print paper. And here's why, because what is more colorful than outdoors, right?
Yes.
Well, I always was relegated to inside pages, and I got black and white. So now with the iPad edition, everything's color. I get all these beautiful color photographs of all the stuff that I do out there. I also embed videos into those photos. So
that's awesome.
Say I'm going. I was to go out fishing with one of these guys at this tournament.
Yeah.
Well, I'd do a little 2-minute roll. I'd put it all together on iPhone. You can do that. Post it.
Boom.
And when you click on the picture of, say, Edwin Evers, it's going to take you to that video on YouTube, and you're going to get to see that too. So it's really, really cool.
That is freaking awesome. So you've, like I said, doing print.
Mm-hmm.
You do a radio show as well, and I've been on the radio show. Tell us a little bit about the radio show. How did you really get involved with this radio show, and how did that come about?
Well, my degree is in broadcasting.
We all have the face for that.
Radio, television, and film. Once upon a time kind of did. But I did that and just never used it. I always gravitated more toward the written word, the print word. And about 10 years ago, a guy in Little Rock, Arkansas, named Ray Tucker, who is a legendary broadcaster there. When you go into his house, there's photos of him interviewing Bear Bryant. And, he was big friends with Pat Summerall and all this kind of stuff. And Ray is a Hall of Fame broadcaster, voice of the UA Little Rock Trojan basketball team. And he approached me at a little get together at Gaston's Trout Lodge up on the White River, he had this idea of doing a radio show.
Okay.
Well, I thought, okay, we'll do this. I figured 3 years is probably the lifespan on that. We're going into our 10th year.
Holy cow.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
It's been great.
Well, so like I said, I've been on the show many times.
Yeah.
You guys interview so many great anglers, and it is a live show, by the way.
It is on 103.7 FM Little Rock. If anybody wants to hear that, you can download our mobile app, 1037 The Buzz.
Okay.
And that's what it's called, 1037 The Buzz.
103.7 The Buzz. I know probably TuneIn Radio for you guys who have the whole entire thing. I'm a big TuneIn Radio fan. It's old because I will tell you guys right now, a TuneIn Radio was probably my second app I ever downloaded in my whole entire life, because you could listen to, I'm a big radio listener, podcast listener, and TuneIn allowed me to listen to so many great shows all over and radio stations all over the globe. Because I remember we're going back now, the old Y band. Yeah, holy cow. But the old band, the radio that, you could be laying in your bed and pick up channels in Chicago, and, it was pretty crazy. We're off topic again here. Well, but I mean, like I said, now with radio and with the internet, we're all in one place, and that's the best part about it.
We're all in one place, and there are, one of the things that I get asked a lot is, how do I get started in this business? Because everybody that we meet, wants to be a part of it somehow. And the print opportunities have diminished, but where print is diminished, there are just endless possibilities on the internet. If you have the means and the idea and an angle to make a go of it with a podcast, it's really not all that expensive to start one.
Oh, no.
And once you get a presence and you get a personality and you become one of those places where people come to, I think that it's easier now to get into it than ever. The way I got started was in 1990. I went to a newspaper in Northwest Arkansas, to a community I've never been before. Put on a 3-piece suit, walked in and asked to see the managing editor. Well, they thought I was somebody with that suit, somebody the managing editor would want to see. Yeah. So I got in, asked him for a job. Well, it turned out they had a legendary outdoor writer there who was prone to taking extended substance abuse sabbaticals, and nobody would know where he was if he was alive. He's passed away now, but he was legendary. Everybody knew him, and he was in the middle of one of these when I walked in the door. So the managing editor said, "Do you know anything about tournament fishing?" Oh yeah, I didn't know a thing. I didn't know a thing about tournament fishing, but I did know how to get and talk to people and ask questions. And I would tell people right up, "Look, I don't know anything about this. Walk me through what you're doing with this." And they were very, very patient. Well, 2 or 3 or 4 months go by. I got a little bit of a following. People are starting to read. In comes back the guy that, and he was, he was extremely well known in tournament circles. And we just got together. It's like, how do we do this and make this work? Well, we figured it out.
That is awesome.
And this old guy took me under his wing. He taught me and introduced me to everybody I needed to know, and just went from there. Never stopped.
That is so cool. Yeah. Guys, I've got a thing, I've got a this thing, not really a banner, but just a little saying I've kept at work, and it says commitment. And it said, you decide your future only by determining your level of commitment. Only you will determine how hard you work, how many hours you're willing to endure, how many miles you are willing to drive. And that's what this whole thing about is, really commitment as a whole. But that story you're telling there is a gentleman that I have listened to on before, and he was in the radio DJ world. And he just cleaned up around the place, and the gentleman could not make it in that night. He had a sabbatical as well. Mm-hmm. And next thing you know, he is on the radio, and he is all over the globe, and he became one of the most amazing speakers you could ever ask for. The name is slipping my mind right now who it is, but I know I'll remember later. But it's just that one moment that, you never know. I mean, what I tell people all the time, here's my thing. We can go into this a second, but I tell mine, I mean, whether you go to a Bassmaster Classic, Red Crested, where we are today, or any other event, if you really want to you need to make a commitment. And the Basscasters not really we were there. We were small, I ain't gonna lie, but our commitment and our next level was made when I drove here, where we're pretty much are today, at but it was at a Bassmaster Classic event, and then that's when the commitment really kicked in, and you've made that, whether you pay for it out of your pocket or not, because it is a commitment, and you get to meet all these great anglers, you get to meet sponsors, and you start getting that name in the face, and then as you're building your resume, hopefully you can take them up the ladder with you as you go. So
I'll add one more thing to that too.
Yeah.
I've got a perspective that's a little different than it was when I was in my 20s. I'm 61 now. What I would tell anybody, regardless of the age that you are, whatever you do has got to be fun. I haven't worked a day in,
oh God, this is
in
awesome.
decades, because I love what I do. I love to write. I love to create. I love talking to people and visiting with people and coming to events like this.
Yes.
Hanging out with you. I learned so much just talking to people, talking with you and Danielle and people just down the things that I learned that I didn't know just about what's going on in the industry.
Yeah.
But the thing is that when I go and sit behind this laptop of mine, that's never a job to me. That is
Right.
That is passion. And so that's what I would tell anybody, whatever you're in, whether it's law or accounting or medicine or whatever, have fun at it, enjoy it, make the most of it, because you're not getting this time back, man. If you have a passion for it, if you're having
Right.
fun, you will not work ever.
That is true. So guys, appreciate you all watching.
Filling up here.
The room is starting to fill up and noise is beginning
Getting
to be
noisy.
made.
People got no respect.
Yeah, I know, no joke. But guys, really appreciate you watching and listening to the latest episode of Basscast Radio. Don't forget the moneysaverstore.com below us. Check them out. They're one of our sponsors.
Yeah, right there they are.
Yeah, right there at the bottom. Order one today. Are you tired of throwing money away? The lures aren't getting any cheaper, B.
No, they're not.
I mean,
no, they're not.
Guys, we've seen these lures anywhere between $50 to $200 now, especially some of the Asian ones coming in. Pick up Money Saver. It'll help you unsnag those lures. So check it out. The room is getting quite noisy here, and maybe we can end this bad boy. Thank you, guys, and we will talk to you again next week right here on Basscast Radio.